I get Erev Shabbos, everybody. Welcome to Jerry's Parsha Ponderings for Parshat Kedoshim, which is alone this year. Usually we have Acharei Kedoshim, or when we don't have a leap year and when things aren't spread out as much as they are. But this year we're treated to Parshat Kedoshim standalone, which is very significant, I think, especially at the time that we are living in, which is so challenging. Parshat Kedoshim talks about the uniqueness of Am Yisrael, the separateness, if you will. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael v'amart aleim kedoshim tihiyu. You will be holy, ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokeichem v'hit kadishtem. You shall make yourself holy. And then it talks about later on in the parsha how Eretz Yisrael is unique for Am Yisrael. Now, isn't that interesting on a time when we are being reminded time and again how unique we are and how the world will remind us of this fact, whether we like it or not. Now, what does the word kadosh really mean? It means holy. But what does the word holy mean? It means separate and unique. When two people get married under the chuppah, the husband says to the wife, the groom says to the bride, Harei at mikudeshet li. You are separated and unique for me. You are mikudash. Right? You are mikudeshet. You are separate and unique. Kaviyachol, as it were, we are separated to Hashem, right? The Shtara Tanoim, the famous Avram Fried song. If you wanna use that as an example, it's a very good one, right? There's a Shtara Tanoim. There's a ksuba between Am Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That ksuba being the Torah. Now, remember that Kedoshim Tihiyu is more than a command. It's a statement of fact. You are Kadosh, whether you like it or not. And V'hit Kadishtem V'heyitem Kedoshim. You will make yourselves holy and you will be holy. Now, whether or not we want to accept this upon ourselves, it doesn't really matter. Because if we don't do it by ourselves, the world will remind us. And sometimes the world doesn't remind us in the nicest way. As a matter of fact, almost exclusively. See, if we're v'hit kadishtem, if we want to make ourselves holy, that's fine. But if we don't, the world's going to do it for us. And we're seeing that today. As I'm speaking to you right now, Aiden Golan is being booed at the Eurovision and was told not to leave her hotel room because they couldn't guarantee her safety. This in Sweden. I don't have to tell you what's going on in Columbia University and UCLA. Unless you've been living under a rock, there's no way that you're not going to know. Right? But the world is reminding us. And this is going to change the way the Jewish people, the state of Israel, and the world as a whole functions going forward. Things will never return to the way they were before 10/7, just as they will never return to the way they were before 9/11. These are two very, very seminal moments in history. Now, I want to just point out, in case you weren't paying attention, President Biden basically said that he was going to cut Israel off of arms if we entered Rafah, which we've done, and we'll take care of that just like we took care of Khan Yunis and Gaza City. But what struck me when I was thinking about this on Parshat Kedoshim and thinking about what's going on in the world It harkened me back to a younger Joe Biden in 1982, when he was basically threatening the exact same thing, cutting off our aid and our arms, to none other than Menachem Begin. It's interesting that Menachem Begin is kind of Bibi's godfather. Kind of who he, not exactly the same guy, I know. I mean, you don't have to. Me, I get it. Begin was a very simple person. Bibi's much more flamboyant and into the stuff, but that's okay. I couldn't think of, unless you were going to dig Begin up, I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather have running the show right now. But basically, Biden told Begin that he was going to cut off Israel's aid. Yeah, he was a senator at the time, and, saying that this is what he would vote for. And Begin told him very well. The famous "I'm not a Jew on trembling knees" speech. Right? 37 years of history, 3,700 years of history, and the rich history of the land of Israel and the people of Israel. You can Google it. But isn't it interesting that it's the same guy? I don't believe in coincidences. It's very interesting that it's the same guy who made that threat to Begin is now making that threat to Netanyahu as we are basically fighting for our lives. For basically the Jewish people, if we let Hamas back in power, we're going to be doing the same thing in short order. And as Prime Minister Netanyahu made very clear, you can't do that to Jews anymore. We're not going to allow it. We have an army, a good one. We have a nation state. And regardless of all the poison and hate in the world, most of these people don't even know why they hate us. They are just going on with the flow. They don't know which river, which sea. They don't know that Israel left Gaza in 2005. They think we're still occupied. These people they're just mindless sheep and robots. And they're doing exactly what they're supposed to. This is not of this world. They're drones in Hashem's army telling us where we need to be, what we need to do, and how the more we try to be like everybody else, there's just no way. We can't. It's in our DNA. It's in their DNA. That's in their DNA. There's nothing they can do. They don't even know why they're doing it. But they're doing it. And this is a clarion call to the Jewish people far and wide. Get your act together. Because the end of the galut, the end of the exile is nigh. And you want to be on the right side. In this week's parsha, it says further, Ish, second pasuk, Ish imo v'aviv tira'u v'et shabtotai tishma. That the exact quote? Well, yeah, it says v'et shabtotai tishmaru. Et chukotai ta'asu. But it's all, Ethan, hold on. I gotta go check this out. I'll be right back. I was right. Just wanted to check it. Ishimo v'aviv tiro v'et shabtotai tishmaru. Sorry for that delay. But ma'anyan shmita etzel har Sinai. Ishimo v'aviv tiro, you shall fear and honor your parents, and you shall keep Shabbos. I mean, they're both in the top 10. But the point that the Torah is making is that, yeah, you have to do everything. But don't forget Shabbos. Shabbos is it's very important. Again, it's one of those things that separates us, that makes us unique. So on this Shabbos, as on all Shabbatot, time with the family, prayer, time alone with God, little hitbodedut, as our Breslov brethren will tell us. But focus, pray. Pray for Am Yisrael. Pray for our chayalim, for our soldiers, that they should be successful and come home safely, both physically and emotionally. May we be zeicha to the Amshachta de Geula, and by this time next year, may we be in mid-building of the Beit HaMikdash. Shabbat Shalom.